My beloved child, quiet your heart, because this message did not reach you by accident. Take a breath and let the noise around you become smaller. Let the urgency that has been pressing against your chest begin to soften. Let the questions that have circled through your mind come and sit in my presence without shame. I have drawn you into this moment with purpose. This is not random encouragement drifting across your path. This is not a passing word meant only to comfort you for a little while and then disappear. This is a sealed answer, and I have brought it to you now because your heart can finally hold what I am about to open. My beloved child, I know you thought the delay meant distance. I know there were nights when you asked and asked again, and the room felt too quiet. I know the silence felt heavy, not gentle. I know how you searched your memory, wondering if you had missed something, failed somewhere, prayed the wrong way, believed too little, cried too much, waited too long. I saw the moments when your hands were tired from holding a question no one else could see. I saw the way you kept moving through ordinary days, while something inside you was still standing at the door, waiting for me to speak. But hear me carefully. I did not forget you. I did not misplace your prayer. I did not turn away from the ache you carried. The answer was not delayed, because heaven was careless with your heart. The answer was sealed because I was protecting you from receiving it through fear. I waited until the trembling place inside you could begin to rest. I waited until the answer would not crush you, define you, rush you, or become another burden for you to carry. I waited until you could hear my love inside it. This message is not here to accuse you. It is not here to frighten you. It is not here to pressure you into pretending you are stronger than you are. I am not asking you to perform peace before you receive it. I am placing peace around the question you have carried. I am surrounding the place that has felt exposed. I am covering the wound that formed while you waited. You do not have to explain every tear before I come near. You do not have to defend why the silence hurt. You do not have to be ashamed that waiting made you tired. My beloved child, I know the private ache of unanswered prayers. I know the prayers you whispered with faith and the prayers you whispered with only a thread of strength left. I know the ones you could not speak out loud because saying them again felt too tender. I know the moments when you wondered if I had forgotten your name, your house, your need, your future, your promise. And still, through all of it, I was nearer than your fear could recognize. Do not rush past this moment. Do not treat this letter as ordinary. Open your heart slowly. Let this be an act of agreement between your spirit and my timing. If this word is meeting you in the place where you have waited, like this video, as a quiet sign that you are ready to receive peace instead of panic. Subscribe if you want to keep receiving messages of prayer, restoration, and holy reminder for the weary places of your heart. And write these words in the comments, not as performance, but as surrender. My heart is ready for God's sealed answer. My beloved child, the answer begins here. Before I show you what I sealed, I must first name what I saw. I saw the waiting. I saw the tears you called silence. I saw the ache beneath your strength. And now I am drawing near to tell you that nothing you carried in secret was hidden from me. My beloved child, I saw what others did not see. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone entered the room. I saw the way you paused in the middle of ordinary tasks, because one thought touched the tender place again. I saw the prayers that did not sound polished, the prayers that came out broken, the prayers that ended in unfinished sentences because your heart had no more words. I heard the sighs you did not call prayer. I heard the silence you thought was empty. I heard the question beneath the question, the ache beneath the strength, the trembling beneath the smile you kept offering to the world. I know how much it hurt to keep living while waiting. I know how you carried responsibilities while your spirit was still asking me for clarity. I know how you helped others, answered messages, went to work, took care of what needed to be done, and still carried a quiet heaviness. No one around you fully understood. You thought you were being silent, but I knew the language of that silence. You thought your tears had fallen into the ground unnoticed, but I gathered them. You thought your faith looked weak because it could not always speak loudly, but even your tired whisper reached me. Do not believe that delayed clarity meant rejected prayer. Do not believe that my quietness meant disappointment. Do not believe that I turned away because you were anxious, confused, weary, or afraid. I am not like those who only stay near you when your faith looks strong. I am not near only when your hands are lifted and your words are confident. I was near when you sat with your head low. I was near when you questioned whether you had heard me correctly. I was near when hope felt like a small lamp in a large room. I was near when all you could say was, "Father, I do not understand." My beloved child, silence was not absence. Silence was a guarded place. It was not a wall built to keep you away from my heart. It was a covering placed around you while I was preparing what your soul was not yet strong enough to carry. There were answers you wanted quickly, but speed would have frightened the tender places in you. There were doors you wanted opened immediately, but your heart still believed that an open door would prove your worth. There were words you wanted me to speak, but fear was waiting to twist them into pressure. So I held the answer in my hands. I held it without losing it. I held it without forgetting you. I held it until peace could stand closer to you than panic. I know you wanted relief. I know you wanted the ache to end. I know you wanted a sign, a sentence, a clear direction, a sudden unfolding that would make everything make sense. And I do not condemn you for wanting that. A child who is tired longs for the road to shorten. A heart that has waited longs for the door to open. But I was not only preparing an answer for you, I was preparing you for the answer. I was softening the places that had learned to brace. I was healing the places that expected rejection. I was teaching your heart to receive from me without immediately asking what it says about your value. The prayers that seemed unanswered were not abandoned. Your faith was not left outside heaven's door. Your tears were not evidence that I had failed to come. They were evidence that the place mattered deeply. They were evidence that your heart was still alive, still reaching, still longing for my voice even in the dark, and I honored that longing. I did not shame it. I did not rush past it. I did not say, "Why are you still hurting?" I came near with patience, because wounded places need tenderness before revelation. My beloved child, hear this gently. The sealed answer was not delayed because I was unwilling. It was delayed because I am kind. It was delayed because I would not let fear be the first thing to touch what love was sending. I saw the tears you called silence, and I held your prayer until your heart could receive the answer with peace instead of panic. Now I am bringing you closer, not to overwhelm you, but to show you why the answer had to remain sealed until love could open it safely. My beloved child, the answer was sealed because it was too precious for fear. It was not hidden to torment you, not withheld to confuse you, not delayed to make you feel small, but sealed to preserve you. I did not place it beyond your reach because I enjoyed watching you wonder. I did not keep it in my hand because your tears meant nothing to me. I kept it in my hand because fear was waiting near the doorway, ready to grab what love was sending and turn it into another reason for you to strive, another reason for you to prove, another reason for you to ask whether you were truly wanted. I know how fear speaks to a wounded heart. Fear takes direction and calls it rejection. Fear takes redirection and calls it abandonment. Fear takes waiting and calls it punishment. Fear takes a closed door and says, "You are not enough." Fear takes an open door and says, "Now you must become enough." And I would not let fear become the interpreter of my answer. I would not let the voice that wounded you explain the word that was meant to heal you. I would not let desperation touch what tenderness had prepared. My beloved child, some answers cannot be safely received while the heart is still bleeding from rejection, comparison, and desperation. I do not say this to shame you. I say it because I love you too much to hand sacred direction to a place still trying to earn love through outcome. When rejection has bruised your name, you may hear no as proof that you are unwanted. When comparison has tired your soul, you may hear wait as proof that others are chosen ahead of you. When desperation has been sitting too close to your decisions, you may hear yes and turn it into pressure, as if my kindness must now be guarded by your perfect performance. So I came first to the bleeding place. I came first to the place that thought every answer would decide your value. I came first to the place that trembled under the question, "What does this mean about me?" Because my answer was never meant to become a mirror where you searched anxiously for worth. My answer was meant to be received as love. My direction was meant to lead you in peace. My timing was meant to guard your heart, not accuse it. And before I allowed the sealed word to open, I began healing the places that would have misread it. Do not despise the sealing. Do not call protection cruelty. Do not call patience abandonment. What I sealed with love. What I held back with wisdom. What I delayed with your whole heart in view. You were looking at the answer. I was looking at you. You were asking, when will it come? I was asking, will my child be able to receive this without becoming afraid again? You were longing for the sentence. I was tending the soil where that sentence would land. Think of a letter placed in my hand, written with care, sealed with purpose, held close until the right hour. I did not tear it up. I did not forget where I placed it. I did not send it to someone else because you cried too much or struggled too long. I kept it for you. I kept it until your heart no longer needed that letter to prove that I loved you. I kept it until you could begin to believe that even before the answer arrived, you were mine. Even before the door opened, you were precious. Even before the direction became clear, you were not rejected, not overlooked, not less beloved than anyone else. My beloved child, your worth did not begin when the answer came. Your worth was not waiting inside the envelope. Your value was not sealed away from you. You were precious before the explanation, before the breakthrough, before the visible sign, before the confirmation you kept asking me to send. I loved you when you were confused. I loved you when you were tired. I loved you when you misunderstood my silence. I loved you when your prayers sounded more like trembling than faith. I loved you before you knew how this would unfold. This is why I would not allow the answer to become your foundation. I am your foundation. My love is your foundation. My voice over you is your foundation. Answers can guide you, but they cannot carry the weight of your identity. Open doors can bless you, but they cannot become the place where you finally decide you are lovable. A calling can give shape to your obedience, but it cannot replace the truth that you are already my beloved child. If you make the answer prove your worth, fear will keep asking for another answer, and then another, and then another, because fear is never satisfied by signs. It only rests when love is allowed to speak deeper than evidence. So, let me speak deeper now. You are not the delay. You are not the unanswered question. You are not the closed door. You are not the silence you feared. You are not the comparison that wounded you. You are not the rejection that tried to rename you. You are mine. You are seen. You are held. You are loved before you understand. You are chosen before you perform. You are precious before anything changes around you. My beloved child, the sealed answer was protected from fear so it could be received as love. And now, as I bring you closer to what I have held, I am not only opening direction, I am restoring the one who will carry it. Because before I answer your question in a way you can walk out, I often restore your name in a way you can live from. Before I show you where to go, I remind you who you are. My beloved child, before I answered your question, I restored your name. Before I placed direction in your hands, I came for the names that pain had placed on you. I came for forgotten. I came for delayed. I came for rejected. I came for foolish. I came for behind. I came for invisible. I came for too late. I came for every quiet label you accepted when the answer did not come as quickly as you hoped. I came for the words you never meant to believe, but began carrying because disappointment kept whispering them in the hidden rooms of your heart. I know what the waiting tried to call you. It tried to call you forgotten because the door stayed closed. It tried to call you rejected because another person seemed to receive what you were still praying for. It tried to call you foolish because you kept believing when nothing around you changed. It tried to call you behind because time kept moving and your situation seemed still. It tried to call you invisible because no one fully knew how much courage it took for you to keep showing up. It tried to call you too late because you measured my promise by the clock of your fear, but those were not my names for you. Let me speak the names I have never withdrawn. You are beloved, you are seen, you are chosen, you are held, you are redeemed, you are remembered, you are guided. You are not an afterthought in my heart. You are not a misplaced prayer in heaven. You are not standing outside my attention, hoping I will finally notice you. I have known your frame. I have counted your tears. I have watched over your rising and your lying down. I have been close in the wilderness, close in the delay, close in the ache, close in the moments when you wondered whether closeness was still possible. My beloved child, you wanted me to answer the situation, but I first answered the lie the situation had planted inside you. You wanted me to tell you what would happen, where to go, what to release, what to expect, what the outcome would be. And I heard those questions. I did not dismiss them. But beneath those questions, another question was bleeding. Am I still loved? Am I still chosen? Am I still seen? Did I miss my moment? Did I become too wounded to be guided? Did my waiting mean I was less favored? So, before I answered the visible circumstance, I answered the hidden accusation. I answered the lie that said my silence meant your abandonment. Do not build your life on the names pain gave you. Do not let delay baptize you with a false identity. Do not let disappointment become the voice that explains who you are. I do not build holy direction on shame. I do not place sacred instruction on a foundation of self-hatred. I do not lead you by making you feel unwanted. I build on sonship. I build on daughterhood. I build on mercy. I build on secure love. I speak direction to the one I have already called mine, because a wounded name cannot safely carry holy direction. If you believe you are rejected, even my redirection will feel like punishment. If you believe you are forgotten, even my timing will feel cruel. If you believe you are behind, even my preparation will feel like failure. Remember Hagar. She was in the wilderness, with pain behind her and uncertainty before her. She had questions she could not untangle. She had a future that looked fragile, yet I met her there. I did not wait until every circumstance was resolved before I revealed my heart. I saw her before she could see the whole road. I spoke to her before the wilderness became easy. I gave her sight, not first by changing every detail around her, but by showing her that she was not unseen in the place that felt abandoned. She called me the God who sees, because my seeing reached her before full resolution did. My beloved child, I am doing this in you. I am opening your eyes to the truth that you were seen even before the answer opened. I am letting your heart know that I was near before the provision appeared, before the path became plain, before the grief made sense, before the next step felt steady. Like Hagar, you may still be standing in a place that has not fully changed, but you are not standing there unnamed. You are seen there. You are held there. You are remembered there. You are not wilderness waste. You are not proof of abandonment. You are my beloved child in a place where my mercy is still speaking. So let the false names fall from you. Let forgotten fall. Let rejected fall. Let foolish fall. Let behind fall. Let invisible fall. Let too late fall. Let every name that came from fear lose its grip. Receive what I call you. Receive beloved. Receive seen. Receive chosen. Receive held. Receive redeemed. Receive remembered. Receive guided. Do not argue with love because pain has been loud. Do not cling to shame because it has become familiar. Let me rename the place inside you that learned to expect less than tenderness. I restored your name because the answer I am opening must be carried by a heart that knows it is loved. You do not need to be frantic to obey me. You do not need to be desperate to follow me. You do not need to prove that you deserved what I am about to reveal. You need to stand in the quiet truth that you belong to me. From that place, direction will not crush you. From that place, redirection will not destroy you. From that place, waiting will not be mistaken for rejection. My beloved child, now that I have spoken to your name, I can show you something about your waiting. It was not empty. It was not a blank space where nothing was happening. While you thought only time was passing, roots were growing in the dark. And once you remember who you are, you can begin to understand why the season you feared was wasted was actually carrying hidden strength beneath the surface. My beloved child, your waiting was not empty. It was not a hollow corridor where your prayers echoed without being heard. It was not wasted ground. It was not a forgotten season where heaven looked away while you tried to survive on yesterday's strength. What looked still on the surface was not still beneath my hand. What looked silent above the soil was alive below it. You thought nothing was happening, but I was deepening what would later hold your blessing. I know you measured the season by what you could see. You looked for movement, for signs, for visible change, for the door to open, for the answer to arrive in a form your hands could touch. And when you could not see fruit, you thought nothing was growing. When you could not see a path, you thought nothing was being prepared. When you could not see the promise moving closer, you thought the promise had been lost. But seeds do not begin their work in the open air. Roots do not grow where everyone applauds. Before a tree can carry weight in the light, it must first learn hidden strength in the dark. My beloved child, I was working in the dark places. I was working beneath the visible story. I was working where no one praised you, where no one understood you, where no one could measure the courage it took for you to keep believing. I was sending quiet rain into dry soil. I was softening hardened places. I was breaking up the ground where fear had settled. I was teaching your heart to reach deeper than emotion, deeper than approval, deeper than immediate relief. You wanted branches. I was growing roots. You wanted fruit. I was preparing the place that would feed the fruit. You wanted the answer. I was strengthening the one who would carry it. Do not despise the hidden work. Do not call the soil a grave when I have called it a garden. Do not assume that because the seed disappeared beneath the ground, it was buried without purpose. Some things must be covered before they can become strong. Some prayers must pass through the secret place before they can stand in the open. Some promises must take root before they rise. I did not hide you to erase you. I hid you to establish you. I did not let the waiting swallow you. I used the waiting to deepen you. And yes, the waiting exposed what needed healing. I do not say this to accuse you. I say it because I love you too much to leave fear untouched beneath the surface. Waiting revealed the fear of abandonment that trembled when I did not answer quickly. Waiting revealed the urgency for control that rose up when you could not predict the next step. Waiting revealed the dependence on approval that made you wonder whether others moving ahead meant you were less loved. Waiting revealed the exhaustion from striving, the tired belief that if you worked harder, prayed harder, proved more, performed better, then perhaps the door would open and you could finally rest. My beloved child, I saw all of that with mercy. I did not uncover those roots to shame you. I uncovered them to heal you. A weed hidden in the soil can keep draining the life from a garden, even when the surface looks calm. So I came beneath the surface. I came for the fear that said, if God delays, he must be leaving. I came for the control that said, if I cannot manage every detail, I am not safe. I came for the approval hunger that said, if people do not recognize me, I must not matter. I came for the striving that said, I must earn what only love can give. I came gently, patiently, deeply, because I was not decorating a wounded heart. I was tending a living one. Remember Simeon. He waited for the consolation promised to him. He carried a word that did not unfold overnight. Days passed, years gathered, ordinary mornings came and went. The temple saw many faces, many prayers, many seasons, and still the appointed moment had not yet arrived. To others, his waiting may have looked long. To flesh, it may have looked delayed. But heaven had not forgotten the promise. Heaven had not misplaced the hour. The child came at the appointed time, and Simeon's arms held what his faith had been waiting to see. The promise was not late. The moment was guarded until fullness came. I want you to see your waiting with reverence now, not because the pain was small, not because the nights were easy, not because every tear suddenly feels simple, but because you are beginning to recognize that I was present inside the delay. I was not only beyond it, waiting to explain it later. I was in it, watering you. I was in it, rooting you. I was in it, teaching you how to receive without panic and release without collapse. I was in it when you thought you were only enduring. I was in it when you thought you were falling behind. I was in it when the answer seemed far away and yet my hand was nearer than your breath. The delay was not wasted time. It was protected development. It was the quiet mercy that kept the blessing from landing on soil too shallow to hold it. It was the hidden strengthening that made room for peace to stay. Had I opened everything when fear demanded it, you might have received the gift and still remained terrified of losing it. You might have walked through the door and still felt the need to force every step. You might have heard my yes and turned it into a burden. You might have heard my no and called yourself rejected. So I grew roots first. My beloved child, those roots matter. The roots of trust, the roots of patience, the roots of identity, the roots of surrender, the roots that say, I am loved even before the door opens. I am held even when the answer is hidden. I am guided even when the path is quiet. I am not abandoned because I cannot see movement yet. These roots have been growing in you. Quietly, slowly, faithfully. Not for display, not for applause, not so you could prove that waiting never hurt, but so you could become steady enough to receive what I am opening without returning to the old panic. Now let the frustration begin to turn into reverence. Let the question, why did this take so long, become softer in my presence. Let your heart begin to say, Father, you were doing more than I knew. Let the soil of your life no longer look empty to you. Let the hidden season no longer be named failure. I was deepening what would later hold your blessing. I was forming strength where you thought there was only silence. I was preparing you to stop forcing what I am able to open in peace. And this is why, in the next place, I will teach you not to force the door I am opening by peace, because the roots grown in waiting were not only for receiving the answer, they were for surrender. They were for discernment. They were for the holy steadiness that can stand before a door and say, if my Father is opening this, I do not need to break it down. My beloved child, do not force the door I am opening by peace. Do not put your shoulder against what I am already touching with my hand. Do not run ahead of the quiet just because waiting has made your heart restless. I know the temptation to make something happen when you are tired of wondering. I know how quickly fear can dress itself in urgency and say, if you do not act now, you will lose it. If you do not check again, you will miss it. If you do not push harder, heaven will pass you by. But that is not my voice. Do not rush what I am opening by peace, and do not call pressure my voice. Pressure will demand that you betray your peace to prove your faith. My voice will lead you without crushing you. Pressure will tell you that you must decide from panic, explain yourself from fear, grasp from insecurity, and move before wisdom has finished speaking. My voice may ask for obedience, but it will not ask you to abandon the quiet witness of my spirit. My voice may stretch you, but it will not make you frantic. My voice may lead you beyond comfort, but it will not require you to surrender discernment and call confusion holy. My beloved child, I have watched you search for answers in every passing emotion. I have watched you examine every shift in someone's tone, every delay in a reply, every open door, every closed door, every dream, every memory, every small movement, asking, is this the sign? Is this the answer? Is this the moment? I have watched you become tired from repeated checking, tired from emotional bargaining, tired from trying to read the future, from fragments that were never meant to carry that weight. You do not have to demand a sign from every feeling. You do not have to interrogate every silence. You do not have to turn every ordinary moment into a courtroom where your worth is being decided again. Let me steady you. Take a breath. Let your hands loosen. Let the burden come down from your shoulders and into mine. Place one thing in my hands right now, not everything you can imagine, not every possible outcome, not every fear that has ever visited you, just one burden. Say within your heart, Father, I give this to you. Hold what I cannot hold. Guide what I cannot control. Open what belongs to you. Close what would harm me. Teach me to recognize peace without forcing proof. Do not manipulate what I am trying to mature. Do not bargain with me as though my kindness must be purchased by your anxiety. Do not say, if you love me, you must answer in the way fear has chosen. Do not make vows from panic and call them surrender. Do not choose from exhaustion and call it faith. My answer will not require you to become less whole in order to receive it. My answer will not require you to prove your worth through sleepless striving. My answer will not ask you to abandon wisdom, counsel, patience, or the peace I have been growing in you. Remember Mary and Martha. Martha loved me, and her hands were busy with many things. She was serving, moving, carrying, arranging, trying to make everything right. But anxiety entered the work and made the work heavy. She became troubled about many things while Mary sat near me, listening. I did not despise Martha's labor, and I do not despise yours. I know you have carried much. I know you have tried to do what was needed. I know you have served, planned, protected, organized, and kept moving when your heart was weary. But I gently called Martha back to the one thing that could not be taken from her. I called her back from anxious activity into nearness. My beloved child, sit near me long enough to hear clearly. Do not confuse movement with obedience. Do not confuse busyness with trust. Do not confuse the noise of your own fear with the instruction of my spirit. There are moments when the holiest thing you can do is pause before you answer, breathe before you decide, pray before you reach, listen before you explain, and allow peace to become louder than the pressure demanding your immediate reaction. I am not asking you to become passive. I am teaching you to become surrendered. Surrender is not doing nothing. Surrender is doing only what I give you grace to do, and refusing to manufacture what belongs to my hand. The door I open by peace will not need you to break it down. The word I speak will not need fear to protect it. The answer I sealed will not require panic to preserve it. When I open, you will still need courage, but courage is different from desperation. Courage breathes. Desperation grabs. Courage listens. Desperation bargains. Courage follows my voice, one step at a time. Desperation demands the whole map before it will trust me. I am not leading you by desperation. I am leading you by peace. So release the need to force the timing. Release the need to control every person connected to the outcome. Release the need to prove that you heard me by making everything happen quickly. Release the old fear that says if you rest, you will miss me. You will not miss what I am faithful to reveal. You will not lose what I am faithful to give. You will not be forgotten because you stopped striving long enough to listen. My beloved child, the sealed answer is recognized in peace, not in pressure, panic, or the need to force what I am already opening. Let your heart become quiet enough to receive without grabbing. Let your spirit become still enough to discern without fear. Let the door be mine to open, and let your obedience be simple, steady, and near. Because once you stop forcing the door, the sealed sentence can be heard clearly. And in the next place, I will speak the sentence heaven delayed for you, not to crush you, not to confuse you, but to free you from the fear that made you believe. Delay meant rejection. My beloved child, you have waited for one sentence that could settle the storm inside you. You have waited for one word that could make your breathing slow again, one word that could quiet the questions that have walked beside you through long nights, one word that could tell you whether you were being guided or forgotten, protected or denied, loved or quietly left behind. I know the ache of waiting for a sentence. I know the way your heart leaned toward heaven, asking, is it yes? Is it no? Is it still possible? Is it over? Is this delay mercy, or is this rejection wearing silence? Come close now, and do not rush past what I am about to speak. Let your spirit become still. Let the noise around the answer grow quiet. Let the fear that has been rehearsing every possible disappointment sit down in my presence. The answer I sealed was not sealed to torment you. It was not hidden because I enjoyed watching you wonder. It was not delayed because your tears were unimportant. I sealed it until your heart could hear it without turning it into a weapon against yourself. I sealed it until you could receive it as love. My beloved child, the answer is not no. The answer is, trust me as I redirect what you were afraid to release. Trust me as I redirect what fear told you to grip more tightly. Trust me as I move your heart away from what would have drained it, away from what would have named you by need, away from what would have taught you to confuse attachment with covenant, urgency with calling, and open access with my approval. I have not abandoned you. I am redirecting you. I am not withholding love from you. I am leading you by mercy. Do not be afraid of the word redirect. Redirection is not rejection. Redirection is not punishment. Redirection is not heaven changing its mind because you became too much to carry. Redirection is my hand on your life when your heart is too tired to see the road clearly. Redirection is love stepping between you and what would have looked like an answer while quietly stealing your peace. Redirection is mercy, closing one path before it becomes a prison. Redirection is my faithfulness refusing to bless what would break you. You wanted a full map, and I understand. You wanted every turn explained, every delay decoded, every relationship clarified, every closed door labeled, every promise placed in order before your eyes. You wanted to know why that person changed, why that opportunity paused, why the provision came differently, why the healing has been gradual, why the calling has not unfolded the way you imagined, why the door that once seemed open became heavy in your hands. But I am not giving you the whole map today. I am giving you a holy sentence that changes how you walk. I have not rejected you. I am redirecting you with love. Let that sentence go beneath the surface. Let it enter the places where panic has been speaking. I have not rejected you. I am redirecting you. I have not abandoned you. I am redirecting you. What I remove cannot steal what I promised. What I seal, I open at the appointed time. What I close in mercy is not stronger than what I have spoken in covenant. What I withhold from your hand may be protecting your heart. What I delay may be preparing your capacity. What I shift may be saving your future from a burden you were never meant to call blessing. My beloved child, I saw the prayers you prayed over relationships. I heard the names you brought before me, the hopes you folded into silence, the conversations you wished would heal, the distance you did not know how to interpret. I am not careless with love. I am not cruel with connection. But I will not ask you to keep clinging to a place where fear is the only thing holding you. I know what is covenant, and I know what is captivity. I know what is repair, and I know what is repeated wounding. I know what must be healed, what must be released, what must be entrusted to me without your hands trying to resurrect what I have laid to rest. I saw the prayers you prayed over timing. I saw you counting months, seasons, birthdays, years, opportunities, and windows you thought had closed forever. I know how time can feel like an accuser. I know how delay can whisper, "You are behind." But I do not measure your life by fear's calendar. I am not late because you cannot yet see the fruit. I am not absent because the door did not open when anxiety demanded it. What I seal, I open at the appointed time. And when I open it, you will not need to become frantic to prove it is mine. I saw the prayers you prayed over provision. I saw the need that humbled you, the uncertainty that made your chest tight, the moments when you wondered whether there would be enough strength, enough help, enough wisdom, enough room to keep going. I am your father in the daily bread and in the wilderness. I am your shepherd in the valley and at the table. I may provide through a door you did not expect, through a pace you did not choose, through a path that teaches trust before abundance becomes visible. But I have not abandoned you. I am redirecting you. I saw the prayers you prayed over healing. I saw the wound you wanted gone quickly, the memory that still trembled, the body that needed mercy, the mind that longed for quiet, the heart that asked when it would finally feel whole. I am not ashamed of your slow healing. I am not impatient with your tender places. I am not withholding love until you are unbroken. I am healing you while I lead you, and I am leading you while I heal you. So receive the sentence without demanding that it explain every sorrow at once. Receive it like bread. Receive it like water. Receive it like a lamp placed gently in a dark room. I have not rejected you. I am redirecting you. What I remove cannot steal what I promised. What I seal, I open at the appointed time. And I know, my beloved child, that even merciful redirection can feel like loss at first. I know that when I loosen your hands from what you feared releasing, grief may rise before peace feels complete. So in the next place, I will not shame your grief. I will come close to it. I will heal the ache around the answer, and I will teach your heart how to let go without believing love has left you. My beloved child, I know that even an answer wrapped in love can still touch a place that hurts. I know that when I redirect you, something inside you may still grieve the road you thought you would walk, the person you thought would stay, the door you thought would open, the timeline you thought would unfold, the future you had quietly imagined in your heart. I do not mock your grief, and I do not call your tears unbelief. I do not stand far away from your trembling heart and say, "Why are you still hurting if I have spoken?" I come near. I come gently. I come as the one who knows that obedience can still ache, release can still tremble, and peace can still arrive with tears in its hands. Do not think that because my answer is merciful, your sadness is wrong. Do not think that because I am protecting you, you must instantly feel untouched by loss. Some things you release were not small to you. Some hopes had names. Some dreams had rooms inside your heart. Some expectations had been carried for so long that letting them go feels like letting go of a part of yourself. I know. I saw the way you built an imagined future out of fragments of hope. I saw the prayers you whispered over it. I saw the moments when you thought, maybe this is finally it. Maybe this is where the ache ends. Maybe this is what I have been waiting for. And when I began to loosen your hands, I saw the grief rise. Bring that grief to me honestly. Do not hide it behind spiritual language. Do not say, "I am fine," when your heart is still bleeding. Do not cover disappointment with sentences you think will make you sound stronger before me. I am not offended by honesty. I am not threatened by your tears. I do not need you to pretend that the wound was small in order to prove that you trust me. Healing does not say the wound was small. Healing says my love is greater. Healing does not erase the fact that something hurt you. Healing brings that hurt into my presence until it no longer rules you from the dark. My beloved child, let me heal the grief around the answer. Not only the question itself, not only the decision, the closed door, the redirection, or the thing I asked you to release. Let me heal the ache wrapped around it, the disappointment beneath it, the fear that attached itself to it, the shame that whispered, "If this did not happen, maybe I was foolish to hope." You were not foolish to hope. You were human. You were longing. You were reaching towards something you believed would bring rest. I do not despise the heart that hoped. I am teaching that heart to hope in me more deeply than in the shape it expected my goodness to take. Remember Lazarus. I stood before the tomb, and I called life forward. I did not fear the stone. I did not fear the silence. I did not fear the place that smelled like death. When I called him, life obeyed. But when Lazarus came out, he still had grave clothes wrapped around him. Life had returned, but the evidence of the tomb was still clinging to him. So I told those near him to unwrap him and let him go. My beloved child, I am doing this in you. I have called life forward, but I am also patiently unwrapping what still smells like the past. I am loosening the cloth of disappointment. I am removing the layers of fear. I am touching the places where grief wrapped itself tightly around your identity and told you that you would never breathe freely again. Do not be ashamed if you still feel layers being removed. Do not despise the process of being unwrapped. Sometimes the answer comes before the heart feels completely free. Sometimes life has already begun, but the scent of what hurt you still lingers in memory. Sometimes you have truly heard me, truly surrendered, truly released, and still there are mornings when grief revisits the doorway of your heart. Do not call that failure. Bring it to me again. Let me unwrap you again. Let me speak life again. Let me remind you again that you are not buried in what disappointed you. You are not trapped in what ended. You are not named by what did not happen. I am not asking you to deny the sorrow. I am asking you to stop letting sorrow define the whole story. I am not asking you to pretend you did not love what you had to release. I am asking you to believe that my love is strong enough to hold both your obedience and your ache. I am not asking you to rush into a smile so others feel comfortable with your healing. I am asking you to come close enough for me to touch the hidden places that still flinch when the answer is mentioned. So bring me the disappointment. Bring me the sentence you were afraid to pray. Bring me the question that still sits quietly beneath your worship. Bring me the tears you thought you had already cried enough times. Bring me the names, the dates, the missed moments, the unfinished conversations, the dreams you do not know where to place. You do not have to clean them before you bring them. You do not have to make them sound holy. Come with the ache as it is. I will not wound you for being wounded. I will not turn away from the grief I came to heal. My beloved child, the answer did not come to shame your grief. It came to meet it, hold it, and begin unwrapping your heart. Let me be tender where you expected correction. Let me be patient where you expected pressure. Let me be near where you expected silence. And as I hold the grief without condemning it, your eyes will begin to clear. Slowly, gently, without forcing your heart, you will begin to see what you could not see while pain was covering the path. You will begin to recognize that what felt like denial was carrying protection inside it. You will begin to understand that my mercy was present even in what I did not allow. My beloved child, what looked like denial was protection in disguise. What felt like a door refusing you may have been my hand shielding you. What sounded like silence may have been mercy standing between you and a road you could not yet see clearly. I know how it felt when the door did not open. I know how your heart searched for a reason and found only ache. I know how quickly the enemy whispered, "You were refused. You were overlooked. You were not chosen." But I am teaching you now to look again with softened eyes. Some things I did not allow were not punishments. Some delays were shelters. Some unanswered prayers were not empty spaces. They were hidden rooms of protection. Do not call every closed door abandonment. Do not call every delay distance. Do not call every redirection loss before you have let my peace interpret what pain could not understand. You saw the moment from one side. I saw the whole road. You saw the desire, the opportunity, the person, the timing, the promise as it appeared before you. I saw the motives beneath the surface. I saw the dependencies that would have formed around your fear. I saw the consequences that would have unfolded slowly. I saw the hidden cost, the unseen weight, the future pressure, the places where your heart would have been asked to bend in ways I never designed for you. I saw what you could not see, and because I loved you, I protected you before I explained it to you. My beloved child, I did not owe you an explanation before I gave you protection, but now I am letting peace show you what panic could not understand. Panic demanded proof immediately. Panic wanted every reason written plainly across the sky. Panic said, "If this is love, why does it hurt? If this is mercy, why do I feel disappointed? If this is protection, why do I feel left outside?" But peace does not always arrive with a full explanation. Sometimes peace arrives like morning light through a window, slowly revealing the shape of the room you had only felt in darkness. Peace does not shout. Peace uncovers. Peace softens the eyes. Peace helps you look back without being pulled back. Remember Daniel, he was not kept from every dangerous place. He was not spared the reality of the den. The threat was real. The darkness was real. The mouths of lions were real. And yet, I was present before the visible outcome changed. I was not absent because Daniel entered the danger. I was not powerless because the night still had to be endured. I shut mouths before morning, explained Mercy. I guarded him in the place others expected to destroy him. My presence was already working while the king was still restless, while the stone was still in place, while the night had not yet turned into testimony. So do not assume I was absent because you had to walk through uncertainty. Do not assume I was careless because the answer did not come in the form you begged for. There were nights when I was guarding you before you knew what I was guarding you from. There were delays where I was holding back timing that would have overwhelmed you. There were removals where I was separating you from what would have slowly drained your peace. There were silences where I was letting hidden things reveal themselves before you built your future on them. There were disappointments where I was saving you from a deeper wound. Look back now, not with the eyes that first broke under the pain, but with the eyes I am healing. Look back and notice the small mercies you missed because grief was loud. Notice the strength that came after the door closed. Notice the clarity that arrived after distance. Notice the way your prayers changed. Notice the way your identity became less tied to one outcome. Notice the people I sent in quiet ways. Notice the provision that came from a direction you did not plan. Notice how you kept breathing when you thought you would not. Notice how I stayed near when the answer felt like no. Some protection did not look dramatic. It looked like a delay in communication. It looked like a restless feeling you could not explain. It looked like a door becoming heavier every time you tried to force it. It looked like counsel that slowed you down. It looked like exhaustion that made you stop before you crossed a line. It looked like an interruption, a pause, a change of timing, a small warning, a quiet check in your spirit. At the time, you may have called it frustration, but I was there. I was weaving mercy into ordinary details. I was placing guardrails where your heart only saw obstacles. My beloved child, I am not asking you to rejoice over every pain as though it did not hurt. I am asking you to let me show you that pain did not have the final word. I am asking you to allow mercy to become visible where disappointment once stood alone. I am asking you to stop accusing yourself for not understanding sooner. You were hurting. You were hoping. You were trying to make sense of a road you could not fully see. I do not shame you for the questions you asked in the dark. I am simply bringing light to what the dark could not interpret. What looked like denial was protection in disguise. What looked like rejection was redirection wrapped in mercy. What looked like delay was shelter while your roots were growing deeper. What looked like silence was often my nearness working beneath words. Let this truth settle gently in you. Let it loosen resentment. Let it quiet regret. Let it open your hands. Let it teach your heart to trust that I can be faithful, even when my faithfulness arrives hidden. And as you begin to recognize hidden mercy, the sealed answer will become more than something you survived. It will become testimony. You will speak differently about the waiting. You will remember differently what once wounded you. You will see small confirmations scattered through ordinary days, and those quiet signs will teach you that I was guiding you all along. My beloved child, your ordinary days were carrying the confirmation. Not only the moments that felt dramatic, not only the signs that made your heart tremble, not only the rare places where everything seemed to align at once, but the quiet hours, the small provisions, the strength that came softly, the peace that returned without explanation, the wisdom that rose in you one step at a time. I was confirming the sealed answer in places you almost overlooked because they did not arrive with thunder. Nothing about your ordinary life was too small for my attention. Not the morning you woke up tired and still found grace to rise. Not the evening when your heart felt heavy, and yet you did not go back to what once held you captive. Not the conversation that came at the right time. Not the closed door that first disappointed you and then strangely brought relief. Not the scripture that kept returning again and again, like bread placed on the table of your heart. Not the calm that did not make sense. The quiet yes, the quiet no, the quiet wait, the quiet release. Do not despise small confirmations because they were not spectacular. Do not overlook my faithfulness because it came dressed in daily bread instead of sudden fire. You asked me to show you, and I did show you, but not always in the way fear demanded. Fear wanted proof large enough to control the future. Love gave you grace enough to walk today. Fear wanted the whole map spread open before your eyes. Love gave you manna for the step beneath your feet. And just as I fed my people in the wilderness one day at a time, I have been feeding you with enough strength, enough light, enough mercy, enough wisdom for the next faithful step. My beloved child, remember the manna. It did not come as a storehouse for years. It came with the morning. It taught dependence. It taught trust. It taught my people that they did not have to see the whole journey to know my hand was present. They had to gather what I gave for that day. In the same way, I may not have answered every question about the future, but I gave you peace for one decision. I gave you restraint for one moment. I gave you courage for one conversation. I gave you clarity to stop forcing one door. I gave you comfort after one wave of grief. I gave you daily bread. I saw the way you kept going when you thought you were too weary to continue. I saw the prayer you whispered while washing dishes, driving alone, sitting on the edge of your bed, walking through a hallway, reading the same verse again because your heart needed to hear it one more time. I saw the way you chose not to respond from panic. I saw the way you waited before reaching. I saw the way you let peace become your witness instead of pressure. These were not small things to me. They were holy places of agreement. You wanted a sign that could not be questioned, but I was also teaching you to recognize my nearness in what could easily be missed. A softened reaction, a wise pause, a burden becoming lighter, a desire losing its power over you, a door closing and your soul not collapsing, a memory returning without ruling you, a grief still present, but no longer seated on the throne. These are confirmations too. These are quiet witnesses that my answer has begun to settle inside you. So look again at your ordinary days. See the mercy folded into them. See the guidance hidden in them. See the protection that walked beside you in unremarkable moments. The sealed answer is not confirmed only by dramatic signs. It is confirmed by the peace I kept returning to you, by the provision I placed in your path, by the endurance I gave when no one saw, by the wisdom that gently grew where panic once lived. And now, my beloved child, the answer requires a response, not striving, not grasping, not proving, not picking the burden back up to see if it still belongs to you. The response is surrendered agreement. Receive what I have spoken. Agree with my peace. Let your hands remain open. Let daily bread be enough for today. Let the quiet confirmations teach you that I was guiding you all along, and that you do not have to carry again what my love has already asked you to release. My beloved child, receive the answer without picking the burden back up. Let what I have spoken settle in you without returning to the old weight, as if silence still has the final word. Do not open the answer and then return to the old burden as if I did not speak. Do not take the sentence I placed gently in your heart and wrap it again in fear, suspicion, striving, and the need to make everything happen by your own strength. I have not rejected you. I am redirecting you. I have not forgotten you. I am leading you with love. Now let your response be peace. Receiving is not the same as understanding every detail. Receiving is not having every emotion instantly quiet. Receiving is not being able to explain the whole road to everyone who asks. Receiving is when your heart says, Father, I heard you, and I will not keep arguing with the fear that tried to speak louder than your peace. Receiving is when you stop reopening the question I have already touched. Receiving is when you let my answer become bread for today, instead of turning it into another burden to carry. So release the overthinking. Release the turning over of every detail again and again until your mind becomes tired and your spirit becomes heavy. Release the rehearsing of old conversations, the sentences you wish you had said, the apologies you never received, the explanations you keep imagining, the outcomes you keep trying to repair in your thoughts. Release the demand for immediate proof. Release the comparison of timelines, the ache of looking at another person's story and asking why theirs moved faster, why theirs looked clearer, why theirs seemed easier. I did not write your life as a copy of someone else's road. I know the pace your heart can carry. I know the timing that will heal you, not hurry you. Do not try to control how I confirm my word. Do not decide that my peace is not enough unless it arrives in the form fear requested. Do not demand that I send the same sign again and again because anxiety wants a guarantee it can hold. My confirmation may come as quiet steadiness. It may come as strength to obey one small step. It may come as a door remaining closed without your heart collapsing. It may come as the courage to stop reaching. It may come as the humility to wait. It may come as rest where panic once lived. Let me choose the way I confirm what I have spoken. My beloved child, your next step is not to solve the rest of your life. Your next step is to walk forward with me. One obedient step, one released burden, one honest prayer, one surrendered yes. One moment where you choose not to return to the pattern that kept you bound. You do not have to feel strong enough for the whole journey. You do not have to become certain about every future doorway before you obey the light I have given today. Let daily bread be enough. Let today's peace be enough. Let the lamp at your feet be enough for the step beneath you. And if this is your prayer, write, I receive God's sealed answer with peace and faith. Do not write it as performance. Do not write it to appear strong. Write it as agreement. Write it as a quiet altar. Write it as a way of saying, Father, I am no longer calling your delay neglect. I am no longer calling your redirection rejection. I am no longer picking up the burden you asked me to release. I receive what you have spoken, and I trust you to keep what I cannot control. And for those who are still waiting, still grieving, still needing clarity, bring your prayer request into the light, not as a display, not as a way to prove pain, not as a place to compare wounds. Let it become a place of agreement. Let others stand with you in faith. Let your simple words say, pray for me, I am waiting. Pray for me, I am healing. Pray for me, I need clarity. Pray for me, I am learning to release. I see every heart behind every request. I know the tears behind sentences that look small. I know the weight behind words typed quietly. Nothing honest brought before me is wasted. Do not be ashamed that you still need prayer. Do not be ashamed that the answer is settling slowly. Do not be ashamed that you need mercy for the next step. I am not asking you to pretend. I am inviting you to receive. Receive my love where you once expected disappointment. Receive my peace where fear once demanded control. Receive my direction without clinging to the burden of proving it. Receive my timing without comparing it. Receive my answer without turning it into another place of striving. My beloved child, let your hands open now. Let the burden fall where my grace can hold it. Let the question rest. Let the old conversation rest. Let the imagined timeline rest. Let the demand for visible proof rest. Let your soul breathe again. I spoke because I love you. I delayed because I was preparing you. I sealed the answer because it was too precious for fear, and now I am opening it with peace. You do not need to carry the answer alone. You do not need to guard it anxiously, explain it perfectly, or force it into place. I will walk with you as it unfolds. I will steady you as you obey. I will comfort you where grief still rises. I will remind you when fear tries to return, and in the final place, I will seal this answer with peace, not so you can strive harder, but so you can rest deeper in the one who has held you all along. My beloved child, come now into prayer with open hands. Do not rush these final words. Do not gather the burden again while you are speaking to me. Let your shoulders lower. Let your breath become steady. Let the noise that has followed you through this season become quiet in my presence. You do not need to understand every detail before you surrender. You do not need to see the whole road before you trust my hand. You are here, and I am here, and that is enough for this moment. Say with me, Father, I receive what you have spoken. I receive your answer, without turning it into another burden. I receive your redirection, without calling it rejection. I receive your timing, without accusing it of delay. I receive your peace without demanding that fear approve it first. I release what fear tried to keep. I release the outcome I tried to control. I release the door I kept pushing. I release the question I kept reopening. I release the old weight, the old panic, the old need to prove that you were with me by forcing something to happen before its time. Father, I confess that I have been impatient, but I come without shame. I confess that disappointment touched my heart, but I come without hiding. I confess that I tried to carry what only you could hold. I confess that fear made me reach, strive, explain, rehearse, and prepare for loss before love had finished speaking. I confess that sometimes I called your silence absence. Sometimes I called your protection denial. Sometimes I called your mercy a closed door, because my heart did not yet know how to recognize love when it arrived differently than I expected. But I rest now in your mercy. I do not bring these confessions to be condemned. I bring them to be healed. Let your mercy cover the places where I doubted. Let your tenderness touch the places where I was disappointed. Let your truth settle where fear kept repeating its own story. Let your peace guard my mind, my heart, my next step, my words, my choices, and my waiting. Teach me to walk forward without dragging the old burden behind me. Teach me to obey without panic. Teach me to receive without grasping. Teach me to trust without needing every detail explained. My beloved child, hear this declared over you now. The answer is not late. Your heart is not forgotten. Your waiting was not wasted. Your tears were not ignored. Your prayers did not fall to the ground. Your obedience in hidden places was seen. Your small faith mattered. Your quiet endurance was precious to me. I was not careless with the timing. I was not distant in the delay. I was healing what fear would have used, protecting what love was preparing, and strengthening the heart that would one day receive the answer in peace. And now I pray over every heart still waiting, every person listening with a question still open, every soul holding an unanswered prayer with tired hands. Father, bring clarity where confusion has been heavy. Bring protection where desire cannot yet see the whole road. Bring healing where disappointment has wrapped itself around hope. Bring courage when the answer comes and obedience feels tender. Give them grace not to force what you are opening by peace. Give them wisdom to recognize your voice. Give them rest when the timeline feels long. Give them companions who pray with love and not pressure. Give them strength for the next step, not the illusion of control over the whole journey. For the one waiting for provision, let daily bread become visible. For the one waiting for restoration, heal what cannot be repaired by human effort alone. For the one waiting for direction, let peace become a lamp at their feet. For the one grieving what did not happen, wrap them in comfort that does not shame their tears. For the one afraid they missed, you speak again with gentleness. For the one afraid to let go, make your presence stronger than the thing they are releasing. For the one who still does not have every answer, give peace strong enough to trust the God who seals and opens at the right time. My beloved child, go in peace. What I have sealed I will open. What I have spoken I will sustain. What I have begun I will carry. What I have protected I will not abandon. What I have healed I will continue to strengthen. You do not leave this moment with every detail explained, but you leave with me. You leave with peace. You leave with a heart no longer required to carry what my love has already taken into my hands. And if this message met you in your waiting, let your response become a quiet agreement, like this message as a witness that my peace reached you here. Share it with someone carrying an unanswered prayer, someone who needs to know that delay is not abandonment and that a sealed answer can still be love. Subscribe for more prayerful messages that help your heart return to rest. Leave your prayer request below, not with shame, but with faith, so this community can stand with you, pray with you, and believe with you, while my peace guards your next step. Right, God's sealed answer is opening in peace, as your agreement of faith.